guys, we are back with another song by Eminem. And since we just finished our album review, which we posted yesterday, we are going to do one of the songs from our poll in the community center of our YouTube page. And the song that won by a mile is Best Friend by Yelawolf and Eminem. So that's what we're doing today.
Yes.
And I don't think I know it.
I think you might recognize it. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's not a song you listen to, but I
Yeah.
think you might
It's
when you
not 50 Cent, right?
no, not that best friend.
You're my best friend.
Yeah, so this is a very popular Eminem feature. He raps fast, he's got some crazy lines. It's like very impressive. So I
Cool.
had a feeling when we put the poll up that this is what was going to win.
Cool.
Yes, so we'll listen to it, we'll break it down.
Sounds good. And this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticket website where you can get tickets for gaming events, sporting events, whatever, concerts, literally anything. We've used it before. It was a seamless experience. I definitely recommend it. And you can use our coupon code with Smith for $20 off your very first order. And the link for that is in the description below. You can also use that same coupon code for Chomps. I already ate it. Amazing. The best beef jerky in the whole entire world. Only has good for you ingredients. The most foreign ingredients in there are lactic acid and coriander, and we should all know what that is. So you can only imagine how great it is and how natural the ingredients are. And it's super soft, super moist, only free range or grass fed, depending on the meat choice the beef jerky that you have is. Like they have beef, venison, and turkey, and the venison is incredible. I highly recommend it. And you can use our coupon code that I put down right here for 10% off all orders, not just your first one, and an additional 10% off subscriptions. And the link for that is in the description as well. Also, check out our Amazon storefront. A lot of great things in there in the description as well. Like and subscribe, follow us on all social media channels. And that's it from me.
You're with Smith. I don't know if you said it. I never
Oh,
hear
yeah,
if you
it's
say it
with
or not.
Smith.
Is the
Sometimes
promo
I
code.
just say it's right here,
Yeah.
but it is with Smith.
Yes.
WITHSMITH.
Yes. All right, here we go. Best Friend, Yelawolf featuring Eminem.
Ain't never been much of the church type, but I believe in the last days.
I know
I
this
walk
song.
through hell almost every night, but I believe it's a pathway. Say, boy, what you doing with your life? With those tattoos on your face. Say, boy, you know that you pay the price. Well, I guess I'll see when I head that way. The Son and Holy Spirit, I hold you nearest, my best friend. Let the trumpets blow with your appearance, I can almost hear it, my best friend. When you wish me hell upon my soul and spirit, behold these lyrics, I got a best friend. Yeah, I got a best friend. Yeah, I don't know much about Holy Bibles, but I grew up in the Bible Belt. I put my love over woman on idol, because I got beat with my mama's belt. But I learned from my mistakes. Try hard to respect people for what they believe in. But if you spit on my fucking grave and wish me hell, then I wish you well. I'ma send you straight up to my best friend. To the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I hold you nearest, my best friend. Let the trumpets blow with your appearance, I can almost hear it, my best friend. When you wish me hell upon my soul and spirit, behold these lyrics, I got a best friend. Yeah, I got a best friend. Yeah.
Okay. So right before Eminem,
Yeah.
we're gonna break it down.
And I don't know if you heard me back home out there, you guys in your home.
TV land.
Yeah, in YouTube land. I don't know if you guys heard me, but I said I do know this song. I recognize it almost instantly when Yelawolf started singing or rapping. Singing?
I think so. I think
He's
he's kind of
singing.
singing. I like
Yeah.
Yellow. My favorite song by Yelawolf is a singing song, "American You." I love it.
I don't
It's
know that one, but I like Yelawolf. I learned about Yelawolf when I was in rehab one time. All my friends, they, one time, I've been to rehab like 4 times. So
mhm,
one of the times, a group of my friends, they were really into Eminem, obviously, like most people are. And they were playing the cypher with, it was like Yelawolf, Royce the 5'9", and like a few other people, obviously Eminem.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah. And then Yelawolf is just like, don't look under the tarp, sir. Growing weed for my mama there.
Yeah.
And then like Eminem's rapping about like some guy like shoving a trumpet in his butthole on a
Maybe.
balcony,
So
something like that.
I think we've said this before, but we're gonna react to that at some point. It's
Yeah, I like it.
break
Well,
it down.
it's a
It's
breakdown
yeah.
video. I'm very familiar with it.
All right.
Yeah.
So Yellow starts off with his first verse, right? Yeah, it goes right into his verse. He says, "Ain't never been much of the church type, but I believe in the last days. I walk through hell almost every night, but I believe it's a pathway." So
Okay.
self-explanatory. He doesn't go to church, but he believes in God. So the last days is like Judgment Day.
Oh, so that means he believes in God by saying that?
Yes. So he doesn't believe
Okay.
in God. He just doesn't go to church. It's, itself, organized
Yes.
religion. And then when he says he goes through hell almost every night, believes it's a pathway. So, going through hell on earth, your life, it's a pathway to heaven,
Of course,
Do,
because those of us who live super easy lives usually don't
yeah,
make it there.
you go through, pain and suffering and, it's a way to get through to heaven,
You like
you know.
proof of your righteousness? I don't know.
Yeah, you suffer.
Yeah.
So then he says, "Say, boy, what you doing with your life with those tattoos on your face? Say, boy, you know that you'll pay the price. Well, I guess I'll see when I head that way." So
Yeah.
he's referring to what people say to him, meaning
Because he has
like,
tattoos on his face.
yeah,
Yeah, and they're like, what are your plans for the future?
yeah,
But I
what are you
mean,
gonna
if
do?
he's gonna just be a rapper, that's fine. You can have as many tattoos on your face as you want.
Yeah, and then so the next line's interesting. He says, well, he's saying, "They say, you know that you'll pay the price." And then he responds, "Well, I guess I see when I'll head that way." So it's an old, like biblical. I know that the Jewish people, they believed that you're not supposed to, mark up your temple, your body, right?
Yeah, but
S-
now I think that you actually can be buried in a Jewish cemetery if you have tattoos. They like changed the rules about it.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's certain sects of Christianity that like really believe that. So I do believe it's in the Old Testament. So that would be, Christianity. But I've never heard of, you know, Catholics not being able to be buried
Maybe
because of
they added an
tattoos.
addendum to the New Testament.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
Tattoos okay,
but
as
yeah,
per God.
so they could be referring not to just the tattoos when they say you'll pay the price. It could just be everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or he's saying you're gonna pay the price for having tattoos on your face. Because let's say being a rapper doesn't work out, you kind of closed a few doors for yourself.
So that
Like you can't, you probably couldn't become a doctor or a lawyer
yeah, so
or anything that requires not having tattoos on your face.
So I always took it as that's what they were referring to when they first said the tattoos on your face. But when they say you'll pay the price, I guess I'll see when I head that way I always interpret it as heaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
Or like they're saying when you eventually are no longer a successful rapper.
Yeah, it could
I don't
be.
know. Could be both, I guess.
So then we get into the chorus, which is Yelawolf singing, and
Yeah.
he says, "To the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I hold you nearest, my best friend, best friend.
So
Let
God is the best friend.
Yeah, so the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, that's the Trinity. It's, God taking three forms. Then he says, "Let the trumpets blow with your appearance. I can almost hear it." So that's another biblical reference. The sound of trumpets announce God, or God's presence sounds like trumpets. I forget exactly the exact terminology in the Bible.
Maybe it's both, but that's interesting. So trumpets existed when the Bible existed. Like the instrument, the trumpet.
Well, yeah, they have again the
I didn't know
the
instruments like that went back like
Well, so the Jews have what's the name of that horn? So
shofar.
that's like I guess a horn could be considered a trumpet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm imagining like the brass thing that you play in when you're in band in high
Yeah, with the kids.
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
So
I didn't know I didn't know that's how far back that went.
yeah. So how do you interpret? He says, "Let the trumpets blow with your appearance." Then he says, "I can almost hear it." So do
I
you
think
think
it means that like although he does a few things that would make him not like righteous or not like a super holy individual, but he's working at it, he's trying, so like he can almost hear God's presence, meaning that like he's nearing towards him, he's like slowly taking one step in the right direction. So I think that's what it means. Like he's close. He's
so?
close.
I agree. I definitely interpret that way too, but I wasn't sure if it's referring to him almost dying, meaning the trumpets blow with God's appearance, and he's saying, I can almost hear it. Is he saying like, oh, I'm almost about to die?
Maybe both.
Or is it just his appearance like in his life? You know what I mean? Like on earth.
I think both. I think it could
Yeah.
be both.
All right. And then he continues, my best friend, when you wish me hell upon my soul and spirit, behold these lyrics. I got a best friend, best friend. Yeah, I got a best friend, best friend.
So saying like you can tell me to go to hell as many times as you want. I'm best friends with God. I'm not going there.
Yes, he's like, look at these lyrics, you know.
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll do his second verse real quick. He says, I don't know much about holy Bibles, but I grew up in the Bible Belt.
So like the states around like Alabama and like
Yeah,
Arkansas.
it's like the southern part of the United States.
Yeah. But
On
I
the
don't think like
east.
Arizona and Texas are involved in
No,
that. I think it's just like
Texas might be. I
Arkansas,
forget.
Alabama.
It's on the southeastern part of the United States typically. But yes, he's from Alabama.
That makes sense.
So yeah, so he doesn't read the Bible, right? But he grew up in the area where the Bible and religion was strong, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So again, he's like, I'm not traditional. I don't go to church. I don't read the Bible like that, but I do believe in God and have faith and all that.
Yes.
Then he says, I put my love for a woman on idle because I got beat with my mama's belt.
So saying that the way that his mother treated him when he was young has ruined his view of women. That's sad. We're not all like that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what
I've
he's saying.
never beaten anyone with a belt,
Yes.
right?
No.
Only on Sundays.
And then he continues, but I learned from my mistakes. Try hard to respect people for what they're believing in. So I learned from my mistakes. I don't know if he's referring to like just the mistakes in his life. You know what I mean?
Or learning from his mistakes from being beaten with the belt. Like he learned,
Because that is the line before.
yeah, like even though he doesn't like the fact that he was beaten, like any, like I'm assuming she wasn't just beating him for fun and
Yeah.
abusing him for no
Like it was a
reason.
punishment for doing something wrong.
Yeah, so I take it as like he's learned his lessons, even though he was not very satisfied with the method of punishment.
Yeah, it seems like that.
But like, who hasn't been hit? I've been hit a lot.
I wasn't hit. I got into a fight when I was like in my late teens with my dad, but that's different. You know what I mean? I got spanked actually when I was little.
I would get spanked for the dumbest shit. I
Yeah.
would like play on the tennis court and then track in clay into the house and not my house. I wasn't that wealthy. This was like my grandparents' house, but I would get smacked for doing that. And I'd be like, I forgot, I'm sorry. And then just fucking cracked.
Yeah.
So it's a
So
story for another time.
yeah, so I learned from my mistakes. I do think you're right that he's referring to the mistakes of that led to him getting hit by his mom. And then he says, try hard to respect people for what they're believing in. So like whatever you are, maybe you're an atheist, maybe you're not, you know what I mean? I respect you for what you actually believe in.
Which also I think is a little reference to his mother. That was her belief
She
system. Like,
believed in
oh, you,
punishment like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
physical punishment. Because, I mean, it's wrong and I don't like it, but we can't say it doesn't actually work.
So it depends what you mean by work.
I sure as hell never tracked any clay in from the tennis court into my grandparents' house again.
Yeah.
I would literally run my shoes under the hose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, try hard to respect people for what they're believing in. I think you're right with that. But if you spit on my fucking grave and wish me hell, then I wish you well. I'm gonna send you straight up to my best friend. So
So kill you.
that's an awesome line. Yeah. So he's saying if you spit on his grave and wish him hell, He's literally going to kill you, send you straight up to
Which
God.
is interesting because I would assume that he would hope that they would go straight to hell, unless he's imagining that God is the final judgment. So everyone goes up there
Yeah.
regardless, and then he just sends those down who don't meet the criteria.
I think that might be what the Bible says. I think so. I'm not
Make sure
positive.
you meet the criteria, guys.
All right. So that's where we left off. We
Yep.
already went through the chorus. So we're going to play the rest of this out. It's just Eminem. There's a lot to fucking go through. So here we
Yeah, there's a lot of minutes left in this song.
more than half the song.
Best friend, yeah.
God, please, would you arm me with the armor to calm me when there's drama like Gandhi? Could've gone the other way many times, could've turned Ali with the llama, but I squashed my beefs and things seem to be looking decent recently, but don't jinx it. It's like Clint Eastwood looking for peace, though maybe not finna enter the priesthood, but at least should make an attempt to show some remorse and to be some sort of repenter for the people. I've been a minister, not a preacher, but a shit starter and finisher. Into the mind of a thick skin, but a short tipper. This patience of mine is thinner than twine is when I get attacked, so I might say something back that might offend you. So if you don't like when I rap or what I have to say on the mic, then you might wanna act just like quarterbacks and take a fucking hike when I snap, cause I'm a sinner.
I got a best friend.
Plus balls and intestines, and they never been yes men. They gon' tell me when I'm fucking up the minute I'm ever giving it less. Then I'm about to vomit and I can feel it coming, cause failure's something I can barely stomach. And I only listen to my gut, so unless you're my fucking belly button, don't tell me not doing my
best friend.
Who you think I'm talking about? Lift me up when I'm down and out. Still look to him without a doubt. Still got a
best friend.
Shout it out like there's never been a louder mouth. Should've never been allowed a mouth. Now that I got a higher power, now when I black out, power out. It's loud. They powerless, but they crowd around. They tend to flock like shepherds. The black sheep, but I'll be the worst thing that these motherfuckers ever heard. When I'm counted out, you'll be DOA. That announcement pronounce you dead when they sound it out. So prepare for arrival. Your arch enemy surrounds you now. He's all around you. Not even the doctors at the hospital are gonna shiggy shock you back to life. It's piggy possible to revive you. That's word to the diggy dots, diggy stop, and it's not an option. Something I'm not gonna do. I'm the Iggy Pop of hip hop when I walk in the booth. Dog on the truth like Biggie rockin' with Tupac in a suit, talking the proof, dropping the deuce, fill up a syllable clip like a refillable script, cock and a shoot. Who you think's my clock that I use that I pull from to get my strength up against these haters, and he'll be waiting at the gate when you get sprayed up, sitting you home straight up to deal with my
best friend. To the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I hold you nearest, my best friend. Let the trumpets blow with your appearance, I can almost hear it, my best friend. When you wish me hail upon my soul and spirit, behold these lyrics, I got a best friend. Yeah, I got a best friend. Yeah.
Long outro.
Yeah. Okay.
I was actually singing the words at the end, and I have like a few points I want to make, but also for anyone who skipped any of our talking and just watched the reaction, I know this song. So yes, I'm singing the chorus at the end.
Yes.
I know this song. Let's clear that up right now for all
Some-
those people who are like, how do you know the song if you've never heard it?
They
Like,
don't-
well, bitch, you're fast forwarding.
They don't
So
actually.
stop.
They don't actually care. That's why they're writing it.
Yeah,
They don't care. You know what I mean?
I don't know why they're here then.
Because they're just starting shit. So one thing I do want to point out.
Oh, I have something too.
Okay, I just forgot to mention because it's not in the lyrics there, but every time the chorus starts, the to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you hear Yelawolf go blow. He literally says blow. Like
Why?
so he's like mimicking like it's like a gunshot, right?
Okay.
So and he does it in each of the choruses. You hear it at the end of Eminem's verse. It goes blow, which actually ties in with Eminem's talking about getting sprayed up, filled with holes. But yeah, so that is like the imagery of like God as his like weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like strapped with God.
Strapped with God. I like that.
Yes, you said that there's something.
Yes, I noticed that like even in Eminem's verses, you still hear Yelawolf saying like, I got it, I'm my best friend, or even saying like, you're not my best friend. But like that aside, whenever he's saying I got it, best friends, like he is definitely talking about God, but just from learning so much about him these past few months of reaction videos, I feel like that's also about Proved.
Yeah, he definitely just talks about that at the end. It definitely is proof. But
Yeah, because I saw him mention proof, but like I still thought that initially. I was like, oh, like his best friend is in heaven.
yes, so it's weird. So he does start off talking directly to God, right? And then he talks about the higher power, but we do find out that he's using proof as his, higher power.
Yeah,
All right, so there's a fucking lot to go through here. So Eminem starts off his verse. He says, God, please would you arm me with the armor to calm me when there's drama, like Gandhi.
because Gandhi's always calm and collected for the
Yes.
most part,
Yeah.
from what I
So
know.
the syllables, I can't, I'm not going to be able to point it out every time, but every time we're going through these lyrics, a huge part, which I can't emulate, is the way he's delivering these lines. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's like
the
I don't know
emphasis
what it is, but it's different.
the emphasis on the syllables is God, please would you armor with the armor to calm me when there's
It
drama.
almost sounds like when you're sort of like losing the sounds, you know what I mean? Or like something's coming through to you, like through white noise. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, he has like a very crazy rhythm. So yes, he's saying, God, please protect him, give him armor
Yes.
to calm him like Gandhi. So Gandhi, known for like, to be strong and powerful and, he was supposed to be a pacifist, but he's once said the greatest crime that the British Empire ever committed against his people was disarming them, meaning taking their guns
Be
away.
as peaceful as you want. Everyone deserves to be able to protect themselves if worse comes to worse.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be foolish to sit there and be like, I'm a peaceful person with someone holding a gun in your face.
Yeah, of
Like,
course. So yes, so Kami like Gandhi. Then he says, could have gone the other way many times. Could have turned Dali with the Lama.
so it's like a guy, like a Buddhist. Gandhi wasn't Buddhist, though.
I forget what he was, but
Uh,
yeah. So Dalai Lama is
mhm.
another religious figure.
Yes, yes, religious figure for sure. And then Dali,
Yeah, so it's a double entendre.
like Salvador Dali.
Yes, so could have turned Dali with a llama. So llama's gun, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, llama. You hear that in hip hop songs all the time. I do believe it's a reference to like a specific brand or something. I forget, but a
I didn't
llama.
know that. I thought he was just trying to reference like the Dalai Lama, but then also say like Salvador Dali like crazy because his paintings are like crazy
So that
in
is
a
what
good
so
way.
that is what he's saying, but he's saying could have turned Dali, so like
Crazy with the gun.
yes, like Salvatore Dali with the llama. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a crazy fucking line. There's like so much there.
Yeah, I agree.
Then he continues, he says, but I squashed my beefs and things seem to be looking decent recently, but don't jinx it. So he's saying he literally he made amends, right? Things are looking good, but
But
don't
like it can always restart.
exactly.
Just as long as people stay in their lane.
Exactly. Then he says, it's like Clint Eastwood looking for peace, though maybe not finna enter the priesthood. So
What is he referencing here?
I believe he's referencing the movie Pale Rider, which is interesting
Oh, I
because
don't know that.
Eminem. So in that movie, you saw Clint Eastwood. He's always in the westerns. He's always shooting. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's always like keeping law in. He's in
It's
the
so funny. Like I always think of the Gorillas whenever I hear Clint
from the
Eastwood.
song. Yeah.
I love that song.
So in the movie Pale Rider, I believe it is, Clint Eastwood plays like he's like a preacher, like he has a priest collar on, right?
Okay.
So, and he's trying to like save, he's trying to like keep the peace in the town, right? So Eminem saying it's like Clint Eastwood looking for peace, right? But then he says, though maybe not finna enter the priesthood. So he's like, I'm not gonna enter I want peace, but I'm not gonna enter the priesthood.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a priest like Clint Eastwood was in that movie. Then he says, but at least should make an attempt to show some remorse. Wait, this looks worded oddly. Let's see. I have
Then
the
to be some sort of a
repent.
repenter.
So he says, show some, but at least should make an attempt to show some remorse and be some sort of repenter for the people I've been a menace to, not a preacher, but a shit starter and finisher. Okay, so there's something really crazy in that line. So that's why I wanted to make sure I had the lyrics right.
Okay.
So he says, but at least should make an attempt to show some remorse and to be some sort of repenter. So, you know what I mean? Like literally, that's
Yeah, like
self-explanatory.
religious, like very
I'm sorry for the
religious.
things I did wrong, and make up for them,
Yeah.
right? But then he says, for the people I've been a menace to.
menace to or minister. Got
Yes,
it.
it sounds exactly like minister, which
Yeah,
ties back into the priesthood and the Clint Eastwood line.
that's good.
But then he says, not a preacher, referring back to the minister, but a shit starter and finisher, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna actually keep reading from my
Yeah,
phone
go for it.
because there's
Because
these
it's
words are
wrong.
weird. Yes. So then he says, this patience of mine. Oh, wait, sorry. I skipped a line. He says, enter the mind of a thick skin, but a short temper. So he has a thick skin. So he
Like
can,
he doesn't let things get to him, but like if you talk shit, like he will just fight you just
yeah,
for the sole purpose of you talking shit.
it's like kind of a contradiction, but not really. Because it's
No,
like,
because if you say something like that's how I get with when people are assholes in our YouTube comments, I get mad. But like if you're gonna say something fucked up about me, like am I gonna think about it all day? Am I gonna let it make me miserable? No. Like I don't really care who you are, what you think of me, but I do sort of want to fight with you.
yeah. So he's saying like he has a thick skin, like he could take the insults, but at the same time he has a short temper and he doesn't want to
It's
take the.
pride.
It's
You
that
don't want
he
them
doesn't.
hurting your pride.
Well, yeah, it's that he doesn't want to take them, even though he can. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, it's just he's gonna teach you a lesson. Like you can't say that shit about me.
Yeah. So yes, this patience of short temper, this patience of mine is thinner than twine is when I get attacked. So he's saying his patience is thinner than twine, right? When he gets attacked. So when he gets attacked, he has no patience.
Yeah.
Um, so I might say something back that might offend you. So if you don't like when I rap or what I have to say on the mic, then you might want to act just like quarterbacks and take a fucking hike when I snap because I'm a center. Okay.
Oh, like a center.
Yeah. So the way he says it is crazy.
I learned so many football terms from watching the Super Bowl this
Yeah.
year because we bet on it. So I was like really focusing.
Yeah. So yes, the he says when he gets attacked, he's gonna go back, he's gonna talk shit about you, blah blah blah. He's like, and if you don't like it, you might just act like quarterbacks and take a fucking hike. So literally, the quarterback receives, they hike the ball, he
Yeah.
gets it. So take a hike, but also means double entendre, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But he says when I snap, because I'm a sinner. So take a hike because Eminem's losing his mind, right? You got to get the fuck out of here, and he's a sinner. But as you already pointed out,
It sounds like you're saying center
center, which is the position, the
of a
football
football
that
guy.
yeah, that literally hikes the ball to the quarterback. It's a crazy fucking scheme. It's like insane. And then you hear Yelawolf saying, "I got a best friend, best friend." And then on the heels of that, of Yelawolf's line, he says, "Plus balls and intestines." So he's got a best friend, but he also has courage and intestinal fortitude, all that. And they've never been yes men. So
That's good.
this is the exact opposite of what the lyric says here. It says, and they've been yes men. The
Yeah,
real
that's
line,
not a good
yeah.
thing.
So it says, and they've never been they've never been yes men. They gonna tell me when I'm fucking up the minute I'm ever giving it less than.
Because a yes man, it's like, oh, do I look okay? Yes. Like, oh, should I do that? Yes. Like they will not, they like tell you white lies just so there's no
Let's see what you want to
confrontation,
hear.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's saying, his balls and his intestines, they let him know the minute he's ever given it less than. And then on that scheme, he says, I'm about to vomit and I can feel it coming because failure's something I can barely stomach and I only listen to my guts. So unless you're my fucking belly button, don't tell me nothing.
Nice. Because that's so funny because your belly button, it's like a little, it's right there by your intestines and it's technically a little portal to your intestines, especially when you're a baby.
Yes.
So you almost imagine like your belly button like talking, like me.
So he does the balls and intestines. So intestines the first one, right? And then
Mhm.
he says, I
Vomit
could vomit, which is,
comes up from your intestines.
and then failure something I can barely stomach.
Can't handle it, but also
So
stomach,
that's three now. And I only listen to my guts. That's
intestines.
four. And then unless you're my fucking belly button. So that's five references in these, what is this, like 8 bars or
And then
something?
it goes, you ain't my best friend, which is cool. It's clever.
Yes. So yes, obviously. So if you're not his best friend, don't tell him nothing. And then you ain't then Yellow Wolf sample, as you pointed out, best friend, best
Best
friend.
friend.
All right. So then he flips it up here. He says, "Who you think I'm talking about? Lifts me up when I'm down and out. Still look to him without a doubt. Still got a best friend, best friend." So at this point,
God and proof
so
or proof only.
so at this point, I believe he's invoking proof. So, because when he says, "Who do you think I'm talking about?" List me up, blah blah blah. Still look. So the still look to him without a doubt. So it could be God. He does make
I think
it.
it's both. It's like a double entendre.
I agree because he says still got a best friend because Proof was his best friend in real life, right?
Yeah.
So then, still got a best friend. He says shouted out like there's never been a louder mouth. Should have never been allowed a mouth. I
Which
love
is
that line. I love that. It's so simple, but I love it.
yeah, and it ties in
So
well.
the shouted out is like this is like
Like spit it out.
but it's like reflective of like a church, like a preach, you
Oh
know what I
yeah, like
mean?
when you like
Like the
talk
refrain.
back to them or whatever that's
Yes.
called.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like the refrain. So you're like testifying to church. So he said, shout it out like there's never been a louder mouth. Should have never been a louder mouth. So Eminem should have never been given a mouth because of
Which
the
is
shit he
funny.
says. Then he says, now let me make sure because this is a crazy scheme here. I got to make sure I got the right line. So I'm going to read from my phone again. He says,
Yeah, let
now
me
that I
check.
now that I got a higher power now, now that I got a
Your
higher
food
power.
order's being dropped off.
Okay,
Just letting you know.
that's fine. We'll get it after. So he says, now that I got a higher power now, when I black out, power outage, ow. So he's saying, now that I got a higher power now, when I black out, power outage. So the higher power, again, is like God and proof. So when he blacks out, meaning like his rapping, it's power outage. You know what I mean? Like nobody has any power. He literally says they're powerless, but they crowd around. They tend to flock like shepherds, the black sheep, but I'll be the worst thing these motherfuckers ever heard. So did you pick up on the thing?
No.
Okay, so he says now they got a higher power, I black out, power outage, they're powerless. So Eminem blacks out, he goes crazy, they have no power, right? But
Yeah.
the higher power is we know from like
Yeah, being in recovery and stuff.
yeah, they use it, they mention it. So he's like they're powerless, but they crowd around, so they're all around. But he says they tend to flock like shepherds. So shepherds literally tend the flock.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, he does the crowd around, but they tend to flock,
Like a
right?
sheep herding dog.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
then the same thing as crowd around. It's the black sheep. I'll be the worst thing that these motherfuckers ever heard. So he's the black sheep, obviously. Then he says, when I'm counted out, you'll be DOA. They'll announce. So again, I got to make sure I'm reading this right. You'll be DOA. They'll announce, but pronounce you dead when they sound it out. So prepare for arrival. Your arch enemy surrounds you now. He's all around you. And then I think it's Blau.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a crazy part too. So he says, when I'm counting, you'll be DOA, so dead on arrival, right? He says they'll announce, but pronounce you dead when they sound it out. So like when they say it, right? Then he
Mm-hmm.
says, so prepare for arrival. So dead on arrival is the DOA, right?
Yeah.
So prepare for your arrival to, the hospital when you're pronounced dead, but
Mhm.
prepare for arrival, meaning like your opponent.
Like going against one another. Okay.
Yes. So then on the heels of the rival, he says your arch enemy surrounds you now. So a rival, arch enemy, same thing there. So he like flips it. And then he says, surrounds you now, he's all around you. And I don't know if you remember at that
Yeah, it
point,
went into each ear,
yes, it literally so it
like
sound
switched ears or
yeah,
whatever.
it kept alternating. So it sounded like you were being surrounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And then he says, not even the doctors at the hospital are going to shiggy shock you back to life. It's impiggy possible to revive you. That's word to the diggy doc. Stiggy stopping is not an option, something I'm not going to do. So the shiggy shock.
I don't get it.
So okay, so when he says the diggy doc, I believe he's actually referring to the DOC, like not Dr. Dre, but like the DOC, who's another member of NWA, right?
Okay.
Because I think he went by the D Doc. Let's see if there's an annotation. Yeah, so the DOC is also known as the Diggy Doc. So I think he's just doing a play on
His name.
the Diggy Doc, and that's why he does the Shiggy Shock. So literally, he's just saying they're not going to be able to revive you, shock you back to life, and
Mhm.
then stopping's not an option. He's never going to do it. And he
Yeah.
says, "I'm the Iggy Pop of hip hop."
He was a big like rock
Yeah,
guy.
and he was wild. And then he says,
Mm-hmm.
"When
Crazy.
yeah,
He's a heroin addict.
yes, for sure." And then he says, "When I walk in the booth, dog, I'm the truth, like Biggie rocking with Tupac, in a suit, talking to proof, dropping a deuce. So that's so funny.
Because he called him Duty, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think somebody, maybe it was on here actually.
But I don't think he was calling him Duty because of poop, like dude with a Y, right?
So but it might be like duty because you're the shit. Like it might have been like that. Do you know what I mean?
I take it as like,
Play on dude,
yeah.
but I think it could have been
And then
that.
they would probably just call each other dude, and then it just turned into like with the Y.
Yeah. So it says DJ 7 Deuce was also one of Proof's aliases. So I don't know if that ties in at all.
Maybe.
But yeah, so then Dog I'm the Truth, like Biggie rocking with Tupac, and it's like, oh yeah, they're the best, right? And then talking to Proof, dropping a deuce. So Proof, I actually didn't catch this. Somebody when I was looking up the lyrics, truth obviously is like proof, you know what I mean? They're kind of
Yeah,
like
like
synonymous.
proof, yeah.
Yeah. Then he says, fill up a syllable clip. Let's make sure I got this. Fill up a syllable clip like a refillable script, cock it and shoot. And who you think's the Glock that I use that I pulled from to get my strength up against these haters?
Proof.
Yeah. So a syllable clip. So again, he does this imagery all the time that his raps and his bars are like guns, weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Refillable, cock and shoot, and then who's this Glock? So again, proof that I use my strength against these haters, and he'll be waiting at the gate when you get sprayed up, sending you hoes straight up to deal with my best friend.
Which is
So
proof.
yes, so he's saying he's
Like
gonna be
you'll
there.
die,
Yes, he's gonna be there when you get sprayed up.
and you'll have to answer to proof.
But it's interesting because he's using the who do you think's my Glock that I use? So he's meaning that his rhymes are like a gun.
Okay.
So he's saying that he'll be waiting at the gate when you get sprayed up, sending you hose, meaning he's gonna lyrically kill you. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that makes
So he's
sense.
gonna like beat you so bad in his rhymes that you're gonna
Just be bad at rapping now.
you're gonna go to heaven. You're literally gonna die because he beat you so badly at rhyming. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then yeah, the
chorus
outro,
again.
it's the same chorus, and then
And
all
then
that.
just a really long outro.
Yes, which is just the sound.
Very long.
Yes. All right. So, best friend.
So yeah, like I said, I do know this song going into it. I didn't think I did. But it's really good. It's really I love like the background music. It's really good. Like you can actually like dance to it and like vibe to it or whatever. I love the lyrics. It's very religious, which I really like. It's nice to see that because a lot of music and a lot of people tend to stray away from religion. So
Yeah.
this song's actually like religion forward, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And it's really, really, really good. His raps are really impressive. That was really long verse at the end.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was longer than Yelawolf's two choruses and two verses. Like
Yeah,
Eminem's verse was still longer than that.
it's very long.
Yeah. So this is incredible. Like I said, I had a feeling this when I put the poll up that this song was gonna win. I mean, Yellow Wolf's great on this too. Like his verses,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
short, they're like really good. I do enjoy his singing, but yeah, Eminem, it's crazy. Again, like I said when we were breaking down the lyrics, half of what's so crazy about the song is his delivery. You know what I mean? The enunciation,
Yeah.
where he puts the emphasis on the words, like all that shit. But there's a lot of crazy schemes in here that it took me a while to pick up on and listen to.
Yeah, especially like the Salvador Dali one. I like that.
Yeah, it's wild. It's awesome.
Yeah. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out Chomps and SeatGeek. Use our promo code. Check out our Amazon storefront. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you. Bye.
Bye.